What's up, my archfiends of chaos? This is your king of the night, Vincent Valentine EX Turk.
Subscribe to Vincent Valentine EX Turk channel.
Hello, my archfiends of chaos. It's your king of the night, Vincent Valentine EX Turk, and I'm here with a different kind of video. And this one has something to do with mostly retro gaming, or should I say Yu-Gi-Oh in specific. You know, not the cards, because I know I have a lot of videos about the cards. I'm here to talk about why I believe that Falsebound Kingdom, it's another F. Falsebound Kingdom is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game, and here are examples why. You know, first of all, what I like is that this was actually the first game to actually introduce the god cards as actual monsters in the game. Now, there are some indiscrepancies I don't like, such as no existence of Exodia, you know, and stuff like that. But otherwise, and then for like if you want to Gate Guardian, they can't connect to each other without polymerization, and then you have to sacrifice a Dark Magician or Gaia to either get Black Luster or Magician Black Chaos. But I like the new style, and also, because I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, as you see on my channel, Falsebound Kingdom pretty much is a game for someone who likes the Yu-Gi-Oh card game and is a huge Final Fantasy fan, because if anything, it plays like Final Fantasy VII. You got, except instead of you have to level yourself up and do RPG battles, you have 3 monsters, a team of monsters that join you in there. And you could even get, let's see, one thing I like is you could even get like a Saki the Dark Clown being able to be strong enough to take out a Blue Eyes Ultimate, depending on what you train that monster. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's different than the card game, because this was an actual legit RPG. I actually would be more of a JRPG, if anything else, with the campaign. And you know, you always run into other monsters, beat them, and they join your army and stuff like that, which is pretty awesome. You know, now they did change this from Battle City, but I think if anything else, I kind of like the alternate storyline with with Scott as the villain. Now, I thought Scott was that one that you've seen in the Kaiba Corp, that one, because they have the long hair like Scott does, but, you know, Scott was a new Kaiba Corp employee who trapped you into the game. He's really working for Dark Knight, which one thing I like with the video games of better than I do the series is their villains, you know, like Dark Knight, Hishin, and stuff like that. What they did was combine, okay, Falsebound Kingdom was a combined game, because if you really think about it, it was very much a combined game from the start, because you had your virtual world filler from the anime, but it's not like that virtual world. You had your video game stuff, your Forbidden Memories and Duels of the Rose, exclusive characters in there, and that made it pretty cool. That way you got a team of people. Not only that, you get to create a team of characters that normally would not work with each other, whether you pick Kaiba or Yugi. And I like the Bonus Joey story, because in the Bonus Joey story they actually made Merrick Ishtar the main villain in Joey's campaign. So, you know, it was pretty cool as well. It's pretty decent as well, and as well as they got the Red Dark Magician, and this was the first one to use Battle City 3D monsters, because even Duels of the Rose didn't have like big Battle City cards besides stuff like Machine Teams, but pretty much it had your Genjo, Red Dark Magician, and other stuff from Battle City. So this was a combined version of Battle City out of the anime, your virtual world filler with your video game, your Yu-Gi-Oh video game stuff, And also, Yu-Gi-Oh card monsters become, or pretty much are your champions you have to level up. And I guess I like that kind of game style better because it's just like Final Fantasy. You pick a champion, you want to focus on your, you want to focus all your, power-ups and stuff like that in order to, you know. Plus, I'd have to say this is my favorite, by far my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game because, believe it or not, Falsebound Kingdom was the very first game I've ever received. That was actually Yu-Gi-Oh, believe it or not. That was actually the very first Yu-Gi-Oh game I've ever played, ever. I'm not even joking. That was the very first Yu-Gi-Oh game on video games I've ever played. And before, I never understood because I never played a Final Fantasy, but when I got into Final Fantasy and stuff like that, I went back to playing it again, and it's like, I like the game even better than all the other Yu-Gi-Oh video games that came out in the time. But I think this is also a sequel to Worldwide Edition, because Worldwide Edition was just a normal tournament, and then, you know, with Merrick still trying to do his evil stuff, you beat Merrick, and I think after that, probably Falsebound Kingdom happened. So I personally think it's a direct sequel to Worldwide Edition. You know, which also it was also a console game too. In fact, I would only buy, you know, if you don't buy GameCube for anything else, I would buy it for just this game. And it can also be enjoyed not only by people who's played the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, not only by people who played the card game or they play JRPGs, but this could be enjoyed by anybody on the fact that you get champions and you level up, you get stages, you get items, you take over fortresses and stuff like that. You get more items, you can get more bonuses if you take out all of the main bad guys, what's it called? Allies, you only get stronger and a stronger fortress and pretty much more money and more experience, which is really worth it. Now, the game is very long to play, but then again, you know, to me, I'm used to that from playing Final Fantasy. And the style of fighting they have on here is Final Fantasy VII base, but with your monsters, which was pretty cool, you know, which was pretty awesome, you know. The only thing I didn't get is when they had showed Bandit Keith and Bones, and somehow Bones is still wearing his Duelist of the Rose outfit, and Bandit Keith is wearing his British flag Duelist of the Rose outfit. But then again, I'm guessing that they picked that again. Some of these are the video game villains, so I'm pretty sure if they're trying to make the story make sense, you know, Bandit Keith got sent to the Shadow Realm, so it's probably that version. We don't know, but this is a completely different universe than the anime, but it's executed so wonderfully. And it gets harder. When you beat Kaiba or Yugi's story, it gets harder because you attain Egyptian God card. If you want, and it was interesting, if you wanted to get Slifer, you had to play Kaiba's story. If you wanted to get Obelisk, you had to play Yugi's story. And then, in order to get Wind Dragon Raw, you had to play Joey's story, which I think the best story mode was Joey, on the fact that Merrick came back and took his throne as being the main villain, which made sense because, you know, both Yugi and Kaiba's team defeated Dark Knight and Nightmare and took their Egyptian God cards, so they're no longer relevant to the story. So Merrick came back and became the original main villain like he was. So, you know, the video game filler villains, they're still villains, and yes, they're still the final bosses. They're still the final bosses in their respective games. I'm not going to deny that at all. They're still the villain in their respective games. You know, and you know, in their respective gameplays. But after he got defeated, instead trying to find bullshit ways to bring Dark Knight back, Merrick has took over and became the main villain. And if anyone knows me about Yu-Gi-Oh, Merrick is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh villain. And you know, for reasons. So this is also tailored to not only that, but people who's watched the show and who has so much nostalgic memories. It's like Konami knew how to keep our nostalgic memories in there, you know. I mean, it's just sick though. It's awesome, you know. And not only that, what I also like about Falsebound Kingdom, what makes it my video game of the Yu-Gi-Oh series, is sure you had a grind, but they made sure you got powerful monsters. It was easy to get a blue eyes white dragon. All you had to do is take out a whole fortress of blue eyes, and you get your blue eyes. If you want a red eyes, take out the whole fortress of red eyes, etc., etc., and then you got that. And then you can and what I liked about this game too is no matter whose story you play, when you play as continue, you get to keep the monsters you already had in your other party. So it was actually pretty good. It was actually more personalized. So if you had a favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monster, you could actually put 3 of your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monsters on your team, and then just level those champions only and expressly only doing that. And the cool part is, you could take all 3 God cards. Now, you have to have someone who has the ability to do it, which I like the ability in job class systems, because that's why I said this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Mix with Final Fantasy, because you had your job class systems, like, you cannot summon a God card unless you're a Master of the Gods. And then if you have, like, Teia's like ultimate healer and stuff like that, you're always going to be in good shape, even if you're facing both Merrick and Dark Knight at the same time, which I hope to God that does not ever become a thing, but I just wanted to talk about this game and just, you know, talk about something else besides just, you know, the stuff I talk about. And I also just wanted to talk about Falsebound Kingdom and what it meant for me in my nostalgic years growing up as a gamer. So tell me what you think about Falsebound Kingdom, or comment below your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. May the crystal be with you.
Yo, Percocet, yeah. Miley Percocet, Percocet, Miley Percocet, rep the set, yeah. Gotta rep the set, chase a chick, never chase a bitch, chase no bitch, man.